What is good, YouTube? It's your boy OG back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be going over the EMPOLEON Double Dragon team that I've been using here in the Great League Remix for my first sets. And the reason I decided to run this team is this is a pretty classic team in the Ultra League Premier Classic, and Steel types and Dragons are a pretty common pairing, but I thought that EMPOLEON would be a pretty interesting pick, even though it's ranked 99 on PvPoke, which really isn't that high at all. It does pretty well against the flying types and the steel types, which I anticipate being pretty popular in this cup, especially after the wing attack buff for this season. So without further ado, let's get into these battles here. And I mean, this is still the beginning of the season, so it's kind of hard sometimes to gauge whether teams will be really good in the long run, since sometimes you are matched with opponents that aren't really that skilled at the beginning of the season. But if you watch these battles here, my opponents aren't too bad at playing. They're all pretty solid players, and I think that has to do with the fact that there probably is some hidden MMR that is influenced by your last season ranking and that sort of thing. But they're able to catch a Hydro Cannon on their Pelipper, so I bank up another move before swapping out into my Dragonair here, and I farm them all the way down. And thankfully we survive the Hurricane there, and I throw an Aqua Tail, which I should have thrown the Body Slam instead, as it does do more damage, but I was anticipating the Diggersby coming back in. So now I'm going to get this Hydro Cannon off, and I mean, even though I said that the EMPOLEON does do pretty good against the flying types, Noctowl does do neutral damage with the Shadow Ball, and the wing attacks, being resisted, doesn't really offer too much of a benefit to the EMPOLEON, I'd say. But they actually kind of make a mistake here by not throwing their Fire Punch right away at my EMPOLEON, since I wasn't at the move yet, so they would have had to force me to shield if I wanted to keep it alive. But now we just bring our Dragonite in and we farm them all the way down, so they know we have some moves ready for their Noctowl, and they concede the match there. So you're going to see a lot of Noctowl and a lot of Pelipper in this video, and in my 3 sets that I played, I did see that, or those Pokemon quite a bit. So they swap out into their Noctowl here, and they catch the Aqua Tail. So it's not the end of the world, since it still does do neutral damage, but in neutral situations you definitely want to throw the Body Slam instead of the Aqua Tail, as it does do more damage. So now they're farming up quite a bit here, so I don't know if I should have shielded and fought for switch, since I did think they would have been able to reach 2 moves and I would have had to double shield, but looking back at it, I might have been able to farm them down before they threw their second Sky Attack. But they bring the Machamp back in, and I'm able to sneak a Waterfall through, which, as you can see, does quite a bit of damage. And my opponent here brings in their Pelipper, which is another beneficiary of the new wing attack buff and is very highly ranked in this cup. But they go straight for the Weather Ball here, which is a little bit of a mistake since I don't actually have to shield that, and they're scared that I'm going to be able to reach another move, so they actually decide to throw their Weather Ball here. So now I will be able to farm down this Pelipper without having to tank a Hurricane possibly, and they do just throw a Weather Ball before they go down, and since I saved the shield, they will have to reach 2 Cross Chops or farm me all the way down, and we're able to farm them all the way down before they can do that to us. So GG's to that opponent. Next match here we have a Lycanroc, which is a positive lead for us, as we are able to do super effective with our waterfall damage. And we swap into our Dragonair here, and we're able to bait out a Abomasnow. So pretty favorable for us, even though they will be able to farm us all the way down. We definitely want our Dragonite to avoid this. So they have a lot of energy farmed up, and they should be able to get to an energy ball here. And the opponent kind of makes a big mistake here by beating the Weather Ball, since they do allow me to reach a move. And I think if they just threw the energy ball, they might have been able to make it to another move before I had to throw my energy. They would have had to force me to throw my energy to take them out before they reached another energy ball. But ends up working out well for us. and they bring in a Shadow Gallade, which is a pretty interesting pick in this cut, but I stayed in a little bit with my Empoleon just to get some waterfall damage off, since our Dragonite is glassy, and then we are able to farm everything all the way down. So next match here, we have a Galvantula lead, so I swap immediately into my Dragonair and we bait out the Steelix. So we should be able to get a pretty nice farm down with our Empoleon, and they do have to throw a move here, otherwise we will reach the second Aqua Tail, which would force them a shield, or like they'd have to like throw a move, obviously. So they throw the move instead, and we're barely not able to get to the Aqua Tail, but now we should be able to get a farm down on the Steelix, and we should be able to threaten a Hydro Cannon on the Galvantula here. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this Hydro Cannon. Let's see what the opponent decides to do here. They decide they're gonna shield, so I bring in my Dragonite, and as you can see here, these Volt Switches are doing quite a bit of damage to the Dragonite, as they are neutral and our Dragonite is quite glassy. So I shield up a lunge, which is a little bit unfortunate for us, as it is reducing our attack, but even resisted, it does quite a bit of damage to our Dragonite. So I'm going to get to this second Dragon Claw, but they actually throw their move first before I can get there, and I decide to let this go, which is a big mistake, because as you can see, the opponent still has a lot of health, and it's going to be pretty hard for our Empoleon to manage this. So I'm thinking that I have to build up to 2 moves or something, or like I just don't throw my move right away since I know I'm going to get farmed down. So I kind of just threw that match there. Definitely should have thrown the Dragon Claw and then gotten a bit of a farm down with my Empoleon and hope that I could outpace the Galvantula to a Hydro Cannon there. But GG's to my opponent. Next match, we have the Empoleon into Obstagoon. So we swap into our safe swap of the Dragonair once again, and another Noctowl. So we should be okay, since we did get a tiny bit of an energy lead before they swapped into their Noctowl. So I'm going to go ahead and shield this, and they go for the Shadow Ball, which is pretty interesting, but I'm going to throw this next Body Slam. So if they shield this, like I'm fine going down a shield to maintain switch, since I do not want my Empoleon against the Obstagoon. So now we should be able to farm the opponent all the way down, and we're in a pretty solid position. So most likely going to bring the Obstagoon back in, and I do get this Body Slam off. So they're going to have to throw a move if they don't want to have to eat another Body Slam or give up a shield. So the opponent going to throw here, and interestingly, it is a Cross Chop. Not that it really matters what move they decide to go for there, but I mean, Night Slash obviously is better, since there is a chance to get a boost, but they bring in the Pelipper here, and I get the shield before swapping back into my Empoleon. So we should just be able to Drill Peck them, and that should just about take out this Pelipper here. But I am worried, since their Obstagoon is pretty close to a move, so I'm going to try to get as low as I can here before taking out the Pelipper. So they throw right away, which works out really well for me, since I'm going to be put pretty low here, and then I'm going to Drill Peck them. But if they kept farming energy, like anticipating what I was doing, I probably would have been in trouble there. But now they don't get too much farm on my Empoleon, and then I'm able to farm them all the way down. So those are the matches here. So in total, I went like 14 out of 15 games with this team, but of course it is the beginning of the season, so take those results with a bit of a grain of salt. But that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and also submit your battles in the link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one.